Hi there, class. It's Mrs. Albright, and today we will be working on Module 5, Lesson 8. And the objective today is use the area model and multiplication to show the equivalence of two fractions. Now, this is going to be very similar to what we did yesterday. We're just taking it one step further. Instead of using a fraction that's just a unit fraction, like 1/3 or 1/4, and breaking it up into smaller fractions, we're starting with a fraction where there is a larger number of units. So in this case, we have 2/3. So I'm going to start off by drawing that area model. I'm going to break it up into 3 equal parts, and I'm going to shade in 2 of them. So here I have the fraction 2/3, 1/3 plus 1/3. So I need to find a fraction that is equal to this. And I want my fraction to be 12ths. So when I look at this area model and I see that I have 3 boxes across the top, I've got 1, 2, 3, I want to ask myself in my mind, how many boxes would I need down the length in order to get 12 boxes all together? So I'm going to think in my mind, 3 times what gets me close to 12, and the answer is 4. So what I'm going to do is break this area model into 4 equal sections going this way. And now you can see that I have 12 equal sections. I have 3 across the length and 4 on the width. So when I'm taking this fraction 2/3, I'm looking at the 2/3 that I had shaded in, and I'm multiplying each of those thirds by 4. So up here on the top, I'm going to keep my original fraction 2/3, but the 2 parts that are shaded, I'm multiplying each of those parts by 4, and then the 3 parts of the whole, I'm multiplying each of those by 4. So when I multiply across the top, I have 2 times 4 equals 8, and 3 times 4 equals 12. So my equivalent fraction is 8/12. And we can confirm that with our area model by counting. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of 12 equal parts shaded. Now you'll notice that even though the whole thing stayed the same size, the number of pieces increased, but what happened to the pieces? Did they get bigger or smaller? And the answer is they got smaller. So even though I have more pieces, each piece is smaller, so it ends up being the same amount as the 2 larger pieces. For this next problem, I'm going to start with the fraction 5/6. So again, I'm going to draw an area model. I'm going to break this up into 6 equal parts. And I'm going to shade in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those equal parts. Now, to find an equal fraction, I want to see what would happen if I divided those 6 in half. So I multiplied each 6th by 2. You can see this 6 was multiplied by 2. I now have 2 pieces. So up here for my equation, I'm going to keep the original fraction, 5/6, and I'm going to multiply the 5 parts that were shaded. I'm going to multiply each of those by 2. And then the 6 pieces that I started out with, I'm going to multiply each of those by 2. And then my new fraction, if I multiply them across the top, 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 2 is 12. So now I know that the fraction 5/6 is equal to 10/12. All I had to do was multiply both the top and the bottom by the same number that I had broken each piece into. Now what I want you to think about is instead of breaking each 6th into 2 pieces like I did in this model, what would happen if I broke each of these into 3 pieces? What would the equivalent fraction be then? Now for this problem, I wrote a statement up here. I said 3/4 is equal to 6/8. And we want to draw an area model to see if this is true or not. So I'm going to start with my original fraction, 3/4. I'm going to draw my area model and break this into 4 sections and shade in 3, so 3/4. Now if I wanted to get 8 pieces all together, I would have to break each of those fourths in half. Now I have 8 pieces all together, and then I'm going to count up how many of those are shaded, because now each of these boxes is 1/8. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a true statement. 3/4 is equal to 6/8. Now I want to know, is 3/4 equal to 6/12? So if I look at this picture, if I want to make 12 equal pieces, what I could do is, if I break this apart one more time, now I have 12 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But I have to ask myself how many of them are shaded, and the answer is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this statement here would be false. In order to get from 4 equal parts to 12, I had to multiply each fourth by 3 to make 3 pieces. So whatever I do to the bottom, I would have to do to the top. So what is 3/4 equal to? How many 12ths? Now for this problem, we're starting with the fraction 3/5. And what I want you to think about is, how can we get an equal fraction without drawing an area model first? So think about the fraction 3/5. Think about how many pieces you would like each fifth broken up into, or what you would multiply it by. And I want you to tell me an equivalent fraction to 3/5.